Head's down like that. It's weird. Just be like.
What?
You can be like. Yeah. We're live?
Yep, we're live.
Okay. Whew, simulated toss.
Going live.
Let's go. Here we go.
Live.
Simulated toss. So now I'm going to do a little simulate. Not a little. Stop doing that.
I'm gonna do a little.
From here, as the top girl starts.
I fell.
Let's do a below 90.
Let's
I
just
did.
go below 90. That's a good lesson. This is where he can torque on her. That sounds like I'm twerking on her.
Twerking
Yeah,
on.
yeah, that's not right. Yeah, that's not right. Yeah, that's not right. He can
He's
torque on the
torque.
body. To begin toss of hands, we're going to start with the base's dip. So as the base dips down, we'll notice that the top of the leg is parallel with the floor. This is, if you will, a 90-degree angle. At which point, if the top girl were to dip too low, he may want to dip with her, and we don't want that to happen. So as I push him down below 90, you'll notice that it starts to knock him off balance. So then obviously that's could possibly pull the top girl out of her cylinder. All right, now we're going to move into the base's grip. The base is going to grab the top girl by the waist. It's going to be just above the pelvic bone. How he actually torques on the body is using the false rib in the back. So if you can notice the thumb right here, this is where the pressure is going to be set. When they dip down, go ahead and dip down, stop right there. The hands go below the elbows. The base will not go any lower than 90 degrees because that's where his power zone is. From here, once she stands up and she starts to accelerate her body, all he has to do is bend at the elbows. If he bends at the elbows, the second part of his biceps will kick in and actually make him stronger. All right, so now we're going to go into the top girl's dip. If you will, the top girl dips down. She stays above 90 degrees, and this is what I strongly suggest. Do not go lower than 90 degrees, even though you may get a little bit more energy out of it. If you notice, the weight kind of sits back to her heels, but not all the way back on her heels so that she's going to actually jump in to the base, and that's what we're trying to avoid. We want her to fight her way back over her toes. So as she stands up, back over her toes, you'll notice this will keep her in her cylinder, and this allows the base to have more control over the final energy exerted into the toss. And now for the top girl's grip. As we notice, the base grabs the waist, just as shown before. The top girl's going to grab his wrist and hold them in place. No matter how much energy that he tries to exert into her body, she's actually going to hold them right where they are the entire time. This is a common thing that happens, and as the base pushes up, the top girl actually absorbs some of that energy. And that's a no-no, obviously, especially when you get into some of the elite stunts. You'll really be able to tell where she's pushing down and when she's not. And now's the point where the potential energy is going to be converted to kinetic energy. So at this point, the top girl started to leave the ground. The base is at his bottom of his dip. He stands up. He started to bend his arms and break right above 90. So we've created enough speed here. If the top girl has the proper weight in the wrists, then he's going to use that as, if you will, a set of handles to throw the girl. With him fully extended, he's going to use all of the power in his muscles to create the most amount of velocity all the way at the top. So as he extends, once again, keeping the top girl in her cylinder, this is going to create the energy that we need to leave the ground and be able to catch the girl at the top. And now for what the top girl does to defy gravity. If you will, once she stands up, she's going to hold the wrists of the base firmly against her waist so that they don't press her arms up. We don't want that to happen. She'll keep her elbows behind her, as we said before. And from here, at the very, very top, when he starts to extend, just before he gets to his full extension, she's going to push her hands down. Now, a lot of people call this a flick, which I don't like to call it a flick because that is kind of like pushing something away. And you're not pushing it away. You're actually pushing the wrists of the base down, which will accelerate your body upwards. And that's a big focus you want. It's actually a mental focus. It's not so much about what you're actually doing with your body. All right. So, buddy basketball kicked us out. So we're now in the hallway filming. It's what it is. We're going to go over what the hollow body actually means. So you may have heard someone say, stay tight or pinch a penny, all of these things. So I'm going to explain to you in detail what this means. So first thing we'll have, the top girl is lay on the ground. Now she lays on the ground. I'm going to pick her feet off the ground. Typically, this is the response you're going to get, so don't break at the waist. So you're going to get this response. But if you pinch a penny or if you squeeze your seat together, you're going to lift your hips up off the ground. So this is the first part. What you're actually doing is tucking your pelvic bone underneath your torso. Now, here's the part that no one does. No one does the side-to-side rock. So when you rock from one side to the other, she should be squeezing her abs so that her whole body rocks. Now, one more thing you can do with your top girls, your cheerleaders, you can do this with anybody actually, as far as everyone needs to know this position, is that you can have them squeeze their abs, tuck their pelvic bone underneath their torso, and you can turn them. Now when they turn, you're going to see a disconnection. So go ahead and disconnect as I turn you from your abs, and you'll see this. Now if she squeezes her abs, when I turn her, she's actually going to turn as in one piece, as you saw right there. And this is what we're looking for in a hollow body. That's a lot of effort, is it not?
Yeah.
So this is a lot of effort you have to put forward. And if you're not putting forth this effort in the air, then obviously you're discounting your stunt. We're both going.
No, let's go. Good. Heard that before.
So now we're going to explain the grip. As you'll notice, the tibia is the front bone of the ankle. And it actually goes to right here in the foot. So we're going to take the meat, if you will, of the base's hand, right there, and that's where we're going to actually place the hand. So that means that the radius is now lined up with the tibia. And this is what will transfer the weight into the body of the base. So I'm going to make a few people mad right here. I'm going to say that towing is good. You want to stop every top girl from towing. Well, that's the body's reaction to going forward. So the body wants to react. You may have felt this if, for example, you were on a curb and you're looking over that curb. So your toes will push your body back. And this is the only sense of comfort that the top girl may have. And if you slide your hands forward in the Coed grip, you'll actually push the weight to the back. So that means the toes will go up, and then you can cause the top girl to go over your back. And that becomes a way bigger risk. In turn, if the top girl is going forward, just have your spotter catch her and set her to the ground and try it again. Let her get comfortable with having the hands located in the back of her foot. So now we're going to simulate a toss. Both parties have dipped down. The top girl starts to stand up first. The base follows. He breaks at the elbows. Now he's began his kinetic energy. He's pressing through the top girl. Right before he fully extends, the top girl presses down, accelerating her body up, if you will. So this energy transfer occurs right in the palms of the hand and then goes into the shoulders. This actually pulls the vertebrae up, and the top girl at this point is keeping her feet completely together so that she waits for the base to touch her feet, at which time she'll let them spread, and the base will bring him back down to his shoulders, not resting on his shoulders, but rather keeping them slightly off his shoulders so he can learn more about weight distribution, especially when you're beginning.
In this next segment, I asked Amber and Tyler to make a few mistakes so we could maybe do some things that you're doing incorrect. We'll begin this video with saying that the top girl is going too far below 90 degrees. She has adapted her jump to this. However, I strongly suggest that you don't do this because it could cause damage to your white muscle fibers. And as we also notice, she's a little bit too far away from her base. So when she stands up, she kind of stands up over top of him just a little bit. And he does his best to redirect it right here, but that also pushes the top girl forward. And so then she tries to adjust, and it just becomes a band-aid stunt. I come too far back, you push me back forward, and instead of staying in that cylinder that we spoke about earlier. Moving on to our next video, we'll see that we move the top girl closer to the base. So you can already tell right now her upper body is in a much better position. She's going to stand up just a little bit straighter, and that puts her closer to where she needs to be as far as in her cylinder. And now you notice he doesn't have to redirect as much, he just throws straight up, and that puts a nice acceleration so the feet just immediately go right to his hands. And that's something you're looking for. We can still make it a little bit better though. I slowed this one down for you to show you this very neat reaction. We have two elite stunters throwing just toss the hands. However, this time we moved the top girl a little bit closer to the base, and she squeezed her core a little bit more and made sure that her hands were closer to her side. And there you go. It accelerates well past extension with less energy exertion. I really hope you guys enjoyed this long and detailed video. If you have any questions or just want to see what's going on, go to my Instagram, cheerleadingstunts.net, or you can also visit my website, cheerleadingstunts.net.